welcome to Live with Cheryl, season a gazillion. We say season 5, but I think one time I said that to you, Felicia, and you were just like, "Oh, really? Okay, I didn't
I
know the
know,
seasons
right?
were they're going by so quickly."
Exactly.
Hello, hello, everyone. So this is Live with Cheryl. I'm your host, Cheryl Mebin, and I have all kinds of different things to share with you. So you'll learn about all these creative sides and analytical sides of me. And on this show, we also talk to Dr. Felicia Mebin over here, our public health ninja extraordinaire, who has all kinds of updates of what's going on in her world. So you can learn and be inspired, and we can all inspire each other. So welcome, welcome, welcome to season a gazillion. So I hope everything can be heard and seen. I was telling Dr. Felicia, I was doing some other media that I'll talk about later, and I had a setting that made my camera zoom in on me like this, y'all. And I was like, that's aggressive. I can't, it's not okay. So before this show, I wanted to make sure I wasn't aggressively close to y'all. You think you have it set for one thing, and then you change up, and here we are. So here we are at the proper closeness. Exact. Here we are. Hello. Hello, hello. So let's get into some things. We're going to first give some updates as I create. That's a feature of the show. I have a lot to update everybody on. Okay. So I have a lot of different areas of my creative business and consulting business. And some of y'all might be here because you know me from that. Thank y'all. So, quick updates all around the areas. One thing I mentioned, I was creating some media recently for the reaction series. It used to be Cheryl Thinks What, and now it's Inspired by and Why. So, Tim and I were doing that more frequently, and now we've sort of slowed it down, and it's just over here on Patreon for patrons. Thank you, patrons. Thank you, thank you. So, I put up a show recently. That was actually the May show. I put up just at the end of May, got it in there. We still have a show to catch up on from April. We had a little bit of, doing all these different things, juggling. And I'm going to put out a June show. So those will be things coming up. But that reaction show, I think it was to the sort of reboot of What Not to Wear. They're calling it Wear What the F You Want. Have you seen this, Felicia? Okay. But have you seen What Not to Wear? Did you see
No,
the
I don't
original
think
series?
so, actually.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
y'all, let me introduce. Y'all may know that I have discussed, maybe here, I've discussed in real life, that I'm not super into fashion. You might be able to tell this from my own personal choices, not to throw shade. I like my red today. It's my kid's favorite color.
But it's like, do you call it shade when it's at yourself? I'm not sure.
Thank you. It's just called low self-esteem. No, I'm playing. I'm playing. I'm playing. It's just, you know, I talk about it in the piece on Patreon, but I really have just said to myself, I'm going to cultivate other things that I invest more time in. And I get more joy out of other aesthetic things like musical aesthetics. So that's my excuse. But then in my professional life, when I was working at EPA, I had some friends, colleagues who were also friends, and they were like, Cheryl, you do have a sense of style. It's just not trendy. You might have more like what is called like a classic style. And I was like, oh, tell me more. And so they were sort of letting me understand everything is not trendy necessarily. And that's the only way you can recognize a style. And so then I was aware of that and I sort of owned that. And that helped me say, wait a minute, I think I have something here, unpack that idea. And then I watched this show and it was such a refreshing reinforcement of this. For this version, the hosts, the same hosts as the previous incarnation, they're really emphasizing that people should do what they want, just do it well. Like, what's your fantasy? And then try that out and then bring some elements into your regular life. So they're giving people these fantasy makeovers where they think, what's the crazy fantasy thing you'd love to do? Opens that part of you up. Then let's pull some of those pieces into your regular life so you can actually sit in that, empower yourself in that way, free yourself up in that way, recognize you're in a new stage of life. It was really good because Wear What the F You Want has that attitude of it's not about the trend, it's about you. What do you want? And then let's get the right fit on you. Let's get the colors that work for you. Let's get it manifesting what you want. What do you think, Dr. Felicia? What you got to say? Excuse me, I'm gonna blow my nose.
Yeah, I actually love that. Because to be honest with you, I mean, fashion is a business.
Exactly.
There's some aspect to look a shiny object over here, shiny object over there.
Trend.
People are chasing it, and you
Hmm.
make money.
Hmm.
And and because of that, there's the history in fashion of having a certain type of model that was not representative of anybody. Well, I
Hmm.
mean, very few people in the general public. So I love this because it means it doesn't matter what who you are. You find that thing that works exactly for you. There could be a wide variety of things that work, which I love.
Exactly.
But I also do love the idea of bringing something from that into your regular. I love that
Yes.
idea actually.
Yeah. Isn't that exciting?
Um, yeah, because for me, I am like the absent-minded professor. Like I'll have these spurts of I'll pay attention to this or that,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just forget and I start paying attention to something else, and then I end up with t-shirts and jeans and short haircuts. So I don't have to worry about it.
Or long haircuts, you don't have to worry about. It goes both extremes are like, you don't have to worry about it. Just let it be. You don't
Right?
have to worry about it. Yeah. Yeah.
But I love maybe thinking about that one thing that's sort of your
Yeah.
signature thing,
Yeah.
that it would harken back to a fantasy. I love that idea.
I loved it too. And I sort of talked about it, like I say, for patrons. Tim and I actually were watching an episode because we had watched, there's one season. It's on Amazon Prime. We have that service and we enjoy it and everything. But it's on there, and there's only, I think, 8 episodes of this first season because they recently came back to TV doing this thing together. And we picked one where it was so heartwarming, and it was, I don't want to give everything away, but you're going to root for this person to have her fantasy. She's been through it and she's come out the other side, and it just made fashion be so much more meaningful because her journey is more meaningful. So her fashion journey was about, I came through some things, y'all, and now it's time for me to just flex, be out there. And I'm not, yeah, exactly. And several of them were like that, where people are getting to a new phase of their careers, they're embracing a new state in their lives, they're sort of done with something that was hard, and now they're owning where they are now. And people are just saying to them, one of the hosts, the woman was saying, and y'all will forgive me if I can't remember all their names, but she was saying that we need to really just embrace ourselves wherever we are, whatever we've been through. If you want to show that to the world or not, doesn't matter, but you embrace it yourself. And I thought, ooh, that's the message we need, because fashion just had been exclusive and made people feel like you are not, you are not, you are less. And it's like, I'm sorry, I'm a person been through some things. I'm not worried about fitting your skinny mini thing right now. Just leave me alone. I'm trying to live my life and celebrate what I can. And they're like, yes, that's right. You should be doing that. Use a little fashion
Yeah.
to help you do that. You have to wear clothes, so
I
might as well.
And the thing about it is, like, I still think fashion is amazing. It's not that the trends aren't something that some people's fantasy might be the trend. You know what I
Yeah, yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Like, that's
Yeah,
not the thing. But okay, this is so funny that you mentioned this
okay.
because I have on a polo shirt right now,
Right,
and
right.
it's got a logo on it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I turned it around, and I'm like,
Right.
oh, I like this look. I
It's
like this
cute. Listen,
color.
I actually like that too. I really do.
It's just
I
my
actually,
polo shirt turned around.
I like it. But I like a thing that doesn't have so much busyness, and that's what I like about it too. I like that bold, solid thing. Yeah, you like the collar has a
Yeah,
little
the
feature,
collar's
has a thing.
working for me because I like
I
a
like
bit
it.
of a collar, but I don't like things to be snug to my neck.
Right.
So the
Touchy,
fact that
touchy.
it's yeah hanging, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So
I
that's
I like
fun.
that too. But I will say I have conditioned myself to realize that I don't tend to like fashion forward things. So if I say I like it, it may not be fashion forward, but I do like it.
Well, okay, so one of my favorite groups, Stray Kids,
Yes, yes, yes.
and I'm going to their concert in Washington, D.C. Woo woo! So they are, fashion forward. It's
Yeah,
sort
yeah,
of
yeah,
part
yeah.
of their job, but then they're also
Hmm.
brand ambassadors and everything.
Yeah.
And I actually realized I do like fashion forward.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
just a lot of it doesn't work with me. So
Okay.
then I wouldn't, you know what I mean? I wouldn't necessarily do it, but I can appreciate that. Wow,
Right.
I never would have thought of that combination.
Right.
One of the members of the group, Felix,
Okay.
um, he has modeled for Louis Vuitton, like he was in one of
Okay.
their fashion shows. And he even presents that he models in a
Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
unisex clothes. And one thing I
Hmm.
want to tell everybody, that doesn't mean he's unisex. Like
It's just
it means
that's
that
what
the
he fits. He
clothes
fits their
are
vision.
fashion
Yeah,
for
yeah, yeah.
women and anybody can
Right.
wear that.
He
And
can pull it
that's
off. Right.
That's more right. He can pull it off.
Yeah.
That's absolutely right. But that's more. I love that concept. It's
Me
not
too.
made strictly for a man or a woman.
I
It's you can
know.
work it either kind of way. Go for it. And
I
so
love
I
that.
do realize I do appreciate fashion. He looks
Yeah.
always looks fabulous in it, and some of the other
Yeah.
members as well, and all
Yeah.
kinds of. But they all have their own little own not little their own looks, and then you
Right.
can see. Okay, well
Couple parts.
that one I might try. That one looks fabulous, but I
Yeah.
would not. You know.
Right. Right. And that's so
And
smart.
so
It's
and
so
so I
smart.
realize I do appreciate fashion, even if
Yeah.
I don't feel compelled to chase it, but I can
That's it.
appreciate it. Yeah.
But especially when you get to a certain stage in life, people tell you, please don't chase it. Just pick what you like. And then there's a little echo, a little update in your stuff because you really like XYZ. But you don't have to look, quote unquote, desperate chasing things that don't fit your either winter or summer or whatever they say, the seasons of your color, you know, how you fit certain colors, or
Yeah.
what have you. Is it a flattering thing on your shape, or B, is it a flattering thing on your tone or whatever? It's like, don't chase it. Let it come to you when it's for you and it looks great on you. Say, oh, yes, thank you, new thing. If it's not for you, okay, that's for my sister or that's for my cousin or, you know, whoever. So
Or that's for Felix. Okay. I'm just saying.
exactly. Some things are really, I'm just like, I don't know who, oh, okay, yeah, y'all pull it off who are paid to pull it off. That's what I know about certain things. I'm like,
Well, and
okay.
I think that I love that element. There's an element of the fashion industry, or at least I think when we watch Project One Way or in the
Yeah.
day or back in the day or something,
Yep.
where you can have the high end that was made for the model, and
Exactly.
then they would more mass produce
Yes.
more variations so that it could fit different body types and things,
Exactly.
and maybe not cost quite as much.
Exactly. Exactly. Have all these little details. Okay, we maybe need half of the details. Seth Ryan putting all the buttons on it. Anyway, so sorry, not to throw shots because he was very talented, but I remember at some point he was like putting extra buttons on everything. It's like, that's just my recollection. Okay, so that's there for patrons. Enjoy that series. I mean, we put up our reaction to one of the episodes, but there are 8. So folks, enjoy. Also, over there on Patreon, there will be new things coming up. And as far as some of the new things, it'll be part of furthering my keynote, rebooting my speaking business. So that's still going on, y'all. If y'all want to hire me for that, that's still being developed. Basically, finishing out one keynote and then starting to develop another one. But I got to say, I went to a webinar from the group that sort of shepherd some of us in trying to do our keynote thing. We leaned on each other. I went to that today, and I was like, okay, y'all, I need to keep going forward with my thing. I haven't done as much because I've been doing a lot in the other areas of the business, but it's inspiring because a lot of us have some good stories to share, and I was listening to more of that today. So good community out there, people doing these keynote concerts. So the concept is musicians or maybe magicians or maybe visual artist, somebody who might have a creative thing that they can add to the keynote marketplace, does something unique and puts their creative stuff in it. And for musicians, we call them keynote concerts, but for other people could be other creative keynotes. And there are certain ways to balance the creative with the more expected keynote content that people give. And you get booked with the keynote speaker rates, and that's a lot better than for some musicians bookings at the same events. So look into it, y'all out there. I can share more if y'all are interested because I am educated about it and now in the process of trying to launch it in my own business as I'm juggling other things. So still going on, still going on. Other things I'm juggling with music, that has been a little bit slower because this is not the time of year where I'm supposed to be pushing on making new things. So I'm just pitching the things that I've had before. So that's a good thing. It's a good time of year. Marketing and sales are good. You know, that's good. Lifeblood of your business, you know. So that's the phase for music right now. And again, things that were on YouTube in general, I've tucked over there on Patreon because people have let me know that for licensing markets, sometimes people don't want your pieces out there to the public yet. So I put them behind a paywall and people can still get at them there. So that is still the spot. Okay, so what have I been doing? So these other things, not as much. Now, what have I been up to? Alicia, I had a fun audition. So I've had a couple of auditions for voiceover, recently got some likes. Thank y'all out there. Hopefully y'all will want to settle on me. But that's my typical thing is the voice acting auditions. Uh, grateful for doing my thing, you know. But I was watching something online on PBS, just ran into it, and it was a theater piece, and I can't even remember exactly what it was now, but it was on PBS recently, like a month or so ago. And I hadn't grown up being a theater kid at all. I had played in the pit in high school and really enjoyed musical theater that way. But that was because I enjoyed music. And so now, decades later, embracing my acting, when I had done stage, yeah, decades, I own it. When I had done stage, this gray was when I was trying to move the timpani. No, I'm just kidding. Um, so now that I'm at the stage where I'm doing acting professionally, I had experience with theater a little bit when we were in the DC area before we moved back to North Carolina. And I thought, okay, this is interesting. It takes a lot of energy to hustle out there and do these in-person auditions. And I really had more of a, let me focus on voice acting, being at home, that I could plug in other parts of the business, like the music, being home-based. So it was sort of an intent. And it was also a thing of, honestly, my passion wasn't theater. I had some experience with it professionally a little bit, but I said, okay, then I got a gig at Smithsonian that was live interactive sort of theater, like educational theater. That was a unique thing, not being on a stage. So I was like, okay, there's certain things I love, but they're not maybe traditional theater. I saw traditional theater on PBS. I said, maybe I got to rethink some updated things. There's some musical elements to some of it. Maybe musical theater has progressed in the last gazillion years since I went to Broadway when I was in the summer in New York gazillion years ago. So I have been to shows more recently than a gazillion years ago, but I just was there to appreciate artists that I really enjoy. And I thought maybe not for me, maybe not for me. I saw this thing. I said, wake up, girl. So there's a local theater here that a lot of people know, Playmakers. And so they had open call, and I was like, let me get myself over there. And they were like, where have you been, girl? Where? So they were very sweet, very kind. It made me dust off some monologues because when you're auditioning in voice acting, you need to have a demo sometimes to show your range, but you do not need to present a monologue typically in voice acting. So dusting these things off so I'm a bit more ready for situations, it felt really good. I enjoyed myself. And Tim, my husband, and my kid Kai got to go over to UNC's campus and goof around a little bit. Oh, and the lighting just changed and changed. And okay, high
Okay.
production value, y'all.
Sorry.
That's okay. You need to
I
go
think
and check
that
some things.
no, it just came back on, so I'm good.
Okay, because if you
Oh,
need
you
to,
know what? I think there's a thunderstorm in the area.
has to be because that the way that was interrupt. Okay, so
Well, but the
Dr.
thing is, it's
Felicia,
just in this room though, because the light seems to be on out there.
and the thing is, your streaming is still
Yes, that's
flawless.
right. Something about these lights. I'm fine though.
Okay, but if you need to dip, we understand. We
Okay.
totally do. This is a live show, as y'all can tell, and sometimes things pop up or turn off and turn back on. Live show. So I really enjoyed the audition. I'm enjoying you, Dr. Felicia, because you're like, oh, okay, well, I'm still here. Okay, thank you for. We'll wrap up pretty soon, so we won't go long today. Let's put it that way. So enjoyed myself with the acting and stretching my concept of what is for me, especially when there's certain pieces when you get a chance to audition in front of people who've been in the game a long time in terms of that institution. They have a sort of way they know how to make you feel welcome and rah you on. And that also felt really nice. Sometimes with the voice acting the way I do it, I'm at home directing myself. It can be isolating. I like it, but not a communal thing. And so it's nice to go out into the community and have other people waiting in the wings. We're like, okay, we're about to go audition. All right, go, break away, stuff like that. It's fun on that end. And then when people are supportive as an audience, that's also a fun thing. Sometimes when you audition in front of people, they are purposefully not trying to give any reaction. But in this case, that wasn't. They were trying to make you feel like you had an audience. So that was good. Yeah, it was nice. It was kind. I was like, this is very kind.
That sounds,
Yeah.
yeah,
It was
affirming.
fun. It was
Which
affirming.
is a
Exactly.
really
That was
great
it.
way to have the experience whether you get it or not, Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, totally. So, community feeling. So, I have some acting gigs coming up this month and next month with Duke's standardized patient programs. I do enjoy go in there, and there's gonna be some challenges coming up in these gigs. There's gonna be some substance abuse characters and some dealing with Alzheimer's for family members characters. Just gut your heart. After you do these things, you gotta make sure to remind yourself that is the character and not me, because some of these things really touch on important journeys that people go through, unfortunate issues people face but need help facing. And so we want our healthcare professionals to be ready and not reacting like, ooh, like I just did, like, oh, we don't want that. We want a little bit more tact and ability to be compassionate in a way that helps people through the journey. So I'm looking actually forward to those challenges, even though when I'm reviewing the material, I'm like, okay. And then when I exit, I'm like, okay, exit, leave that material. So a lot of acting things coming up or recently done. The audition was pretty recent. So I'm grateful and excited and available. I'm doing things, but these are auditions, y'all. So I'm available to be booked. Thank you. Also, I wanted to share in terms of community around acting. There is a good voice acting community. And I recently, just today, actually listened to an update from some of the players in that community about AI in voice acting. For the last couple of years, I've been staying away from getting involved with AI in the voice acting realm. As y'all know, I've been training AI models using my STEM background, my science background, and then enjoying that journey. I'll talk a little bit about it here again, update y'all on that. But it felt to me like there were too many evolving things that sounded like it would be very risky for me to jump in there without knowing more. And so I just listened to what was going on over the last couple of years in voice acting around AI, saw some of the offerings, saw some big dollar signs on some of these things, and then thought, still, maybe not for me. Now, latest acting situations, there's, I guess, one of the big unions, SAG-AFTRA, has just recently put language around AI protections in their agreements, and that's being voted on by the union members. I'm not personally a union member. If I could be, I would be, of course, but I haven't done enough gigs like, union gigs to get that. So, or I haven't done a union gig to be able to get it. So, but that's going on, and all over the industry, union, non-union, people are educating ourselves. So I went today to educate myself, and I feel very heartened about some of the language people are using, some of the idea that even if things are evolving out there, there are still niches and places where AI is going to move forward in a good way. So if you're worried about not getting involved in it because you're a voice actor, because you think, okay, if I work and develop a clone of my actual voice, it's going to sound nutty because the technology hasn't gotten there. People are like, nope, it's gotten there. So now you don't have to feel like if your voice is cloned and people can recognize, it's going to be associated with nonsense if you're working with good people, good partners, good clients, meaning people who know they need to honor terms of contract, terms of use. Like with anything, we have to make sure that we're working with people who are going to honor the agreements, try to be as specific as possible about where the voice would be used. There are things out there that people, do that don't try to mimic or clone one specific voice. Those may be a lot less high compensation for doing that kind of training. But for brands who are trying to expand and have things that they really couldn't afford to keep hiring the voice actor to do all these interactive little things that they'll have with their customer service chatbot. They couldn't afford you to just be on there all the time trying to record stuff. Impractical, impossible, really. That's where there's even market expansion. And so that's exciting because you think, okay, well, this is going to transform and sort of reduce the market share in the traditional voiceover market. Eventually, yeah, but it's also going to expand our opportunities in certain areas too if we're able to look at these contracts, really think about, again, people specifying, as in other contracts, use, and making sure you have controls, some transparency, and can consent to certain uses. If you don't want certain uses of your voice, that should be something that you can know that people are tracking where your voice is being used. If you're doing one of these recognizable clones, like of your voice, because that's what brands at this point would want, because they can't protect, copyright wise, they can't protect these purely synthetic voices. But clones of recognizable actors can be protected right now. So that's currently a way that people can sort of navigate towards some support for our businesses and not feel like we're making ourselves obsolete. Do you know what I mean? So I think people, we get changes in industries all over from AI, and a lot of us just have to educate ourselves about, well, what's in it for me? How can I make use of it? How can I protect myself? So that was a recent conversation. I would talk to people more about it. I took a lot of notes about it, but it was just today. Voices.com has some language in their terms of service now, and I do some work through there. But then also just other places, I get booked other places as well. And it's just good for us to know to just add a voice writer and add an AI, voiced AI writer that says, your voice will not be used to train AI models or create a clone of your voice for this. Like you just have to put it in there if it's not in the contract. And certain organizations have these writers that you can just add to contracts if the language is not already there. And they've been making sure to scrub that language with their lawyers and things. So it's just really exciting, honestly, for me, because I felt nervous and just like at arm's length. And now that I educated myself, I feel less nervous and I feel empowered to be like, okay, I know what to look for in these contracts. I know which kinds of gigs are still attached to some thing that people can defend so they can then invest some money in, and therefore something that would be useful for a voice artist. So good stuff going on with acting. Educate yourselves, empower yourselves, and then make your own decision. If you're still anti AI, I get it. But if you're like me and saying, okay, cautiously, if it's done ethically, I could get in there, okay, then we can educate ourselves. There's
Yeah.
discussions being had out there. Uh,
Absolutely. I mean,
yeah,
and even in education, as you know, right?
yep,
Because, and one of the things that you said was this operates like everything else. It's like AI is a tool and it depends on who's using the tool and feeding the tool. Like that's what makes the difference. And I think everybody agrees you can't put that genie back in the bottle. So now we're having to think strategically about how to make the best use of it. And I think that's the way to think about it. I haven't
exactly.
quite gotten there myself, but I'm not afraid to. I just haven't had time. But
Yep,
I do
yep,
feel like there's some bulk things that, I don't have any problems in a work setting if people give a first draft of something and then say, okay, chat GPT, have at it so that it smooths it out. I think we have to be careful about people presenting a chat GPT total presentation, that idea as their own. If you tell me that's what you did, that's one thing. If you can expand on it, make it your own,
yeah.
that's another thing. But just relying on that is not going to be acceptable in terms
Not
of
yet.
critical
Not yet.
thinking and demonstrating and trying to be creative and move things forward. But I definitely see the value of it, and we just have to use it carefully.
Absolutely, especially even at this stage. These models are advanced, but they still make a lot of errors that humans wouldn't make and will make you look bad if you don't double check their work. So it's not even just, want to add extra value, is cover your butt because you're going to look silly if you don't check these things. And people have gotten in
Well,
trouble.
and interestingly, because I'm in higher education, we talk about students doing it.
Yeah.
And I think what they don't realize is faculty can tell.
Yeah.
And unless that was now some faculty being creative and building that into it, things like, okay, here's the assignment, put it in chat GPT, see what you get. Now critique and show me that you understand the principles of it to be able to do that, which I think is great. And then they'll see where some of the weaknesses are.
Exactly, exactly. Because I'm still training AI models. I just finished up an internship with it that was really fun for me. And they had a component of just helping us to know the state of the art and articles and research articles probing where do things still fail, where they're getting better, And this is with a company that's trying to push the cutting edge. And they're still pointing out a whole lot of places where not quite ready yet, but we're trying to get there. So that's a fun thing to be involved in for me still, and I'm still in different projects with that even though the internship wrapped up. But again, yeah, asterisk, big asterisk, things are not ready to just like guide you without oversight at all. Just really feel that that's not quite where it is yet. Good for a part of how you're pulling things together, but not the whole thing. Please, for anything at all sophisticated at all, like please, caution. So, quick updates all around. I think I've gotten through to pretty much everything that I wanted to touch on. And just let's blast into our next live with Cheryl is going to be in July, just before July 4th, just before Independence Day for us Americans. So July 3rd, 8:30 p.m. this later time. So we'll see y'all then. And then let's blast into our health trivia, y'all. So quick and at the end, I think that because people are going through transitions, you know how we have graduation time of year for the college people, you know, they've gotten through that already. And then some of the folks in the K-12, we're still looking ahead, like hanging in there, about to finish up for the year coming up. There's transitions involved in that. And sometimes we lose a bit of routine, y'all. So just to reinforce, as sometimes we lose a little bit of routine at the end of a school year, what is the benefit of a routine? A routine can help you blank. Can it help you just sleep better? Only sleep better? Help you only get active? Or both? What do y'all think? And let me give y'all a little bit of music to think it over. And let us know in the chat, if you will, what you think.
Okay, we have a response. Thanks.
Okay, awesome. Awesome. Let me, you see the response. C is exactly it. Sorry, I was checking the response to Dr. Felicia, and so y'all caught me in the middle of being in 5 screens. C is correct. That is fabulous. And let's just give you the resource since we're running a little bit over time. This is from, I think it's basically a sort of combined care, like insurance and medical provider source, Northwestern Medicine. Anyway, a routine can help you manage stress more effectively. It can help you sleep better, eat healthier, and get active. So it's both. It's even more than just the two. Y'all check out this article here, because I think as people are going into the summer, some of our routines get just, some of our routines get just thrown around. But they were just outlining that if you're trying to make some changes with routine, it can help you then do things that, okay, it's hard for me to get time to exercise. Okay, but if I have a routine, I can just slide it before this other thing. So they give a lot of good tips. And it can help a lot of different things. They're even like help you eat better, because then you put in your schedule, go shop and get yourself some fruit. And I said, oh my goodness, that's so cute that they're just like highlighting that. And it's valuable. I mean, it's not just sleep routine, which I think we're used to thinking about, going to sleep at a certain time, waking up at a certain time. That can be helpful for better rest. But it's also other things like just trying to get your exercise in there, because sometimes we're busy. But if we have a little routine, maybe we can slide in 5 minutes, slide in 10 minutes there. Y'all check things out, encourage each other to find some kind of way to get these things done. And Tim, do you want to hear the outgoing music be live with Cheryl theme, or do you want to hear my choice of another little bit as we go out? We'll see y'all July 3rd at 8:30. Let me know, since you got it correct, Tim, let us know, please, what you gonna want on the way out, Mr. Tim. And thanks for helping the little one go to sleep. He was reading Kaya's story, and I went in because I was like, oh, I'm so, and little one woke up. I said, oh no. He was on the edge. You know how the little eyes are like this, and I sort of opened up, okay, are y'all better? And he's like, oh, mommy. I said, oh, mommy. So the next time I poked my head in, I was like, mommy. He was out. Okay, outgoing music. Awesome. Thank you, Tim. Thank you, Dr. Felicia. Thanks, everybody out there. Use routines, use encouragement, music, whatever you got to do to get positive things flowing in your life. We'll see y'all again soon. And thanks for listening.